in a world where pop culture reigns supreme, with too many podcasts and unsolicited opinions, two friends brave the storm to give you just that. Room 303 presents Revenge of the Pod. With your hosts, the Mexican meat connoisseur Jason Escudero, the Puerto Rican nerd aficionado Luigi Orozco, on with the show.
Welcome
y saludos amigos
a nuestra presentación Revenge of the Pod. We're happy to be back, guys. It's been a minute, but we have returned. It's the return of the wait. Anyway, good to see you, Jason. Good to have you back.
I like that intro, man.
I had to throw in a little Eminem there, you know what I mean? It's ripe for the picking on this situation. So I just want to see how you're doing before we get into it. We got a few things for you guys. So how you been, man? How you doing?
Yeah, man, it's been so we're on to the new year. We're already in February. So last time I think we spoke was back in like October, I think. So man, a lot of stuff has happened recently. Let's see, Christmas came and went. It was pretty good. It was pretty cool. Jamie ended up getting us a pickleball set for Christmas as a gift. So been doing that.
Okay.
It's been pretty fun. I recommend it, for anyone that's out of shape like myself currently. It's a lot of fun. It feels like tennis, but it's chill. It's super popular out here in Arizona. So I've been playing that like almost every Sunday now, losing some weight just because playing some pickleball. And also, I'm not doing just dry January this year. I'm actually doing a dry 6 months. So let's see it. It's holding on strong right now. The last time I drank was actually the Texas game versus ASU game on New Year's Day. And man, that was a good game. And I obviously I live in Arizona, so I was in enemy territory. And dude, I was the only Texas fan at a Dave & Buster's, dude, and it was crazy. An amazing game. I was talking shit the whole time, and then ASU comes back out of nowhere, and people were talking shit to me, and they're like, "Oh, where were you at?" And then the ending, right? So it was double overtime. It was crazy, man.
I saw a video. So listeners, Jason sent us a video after, because all the Texas fans live in other places, right? So he sent a video, and all you could see was the whole place was quiet. It was quiet, and you could just see him like filming, and then you just see a hand with the Longhorn come out. He just does that, and no one speaks a word. It was pretty great.
I showed a video like right before that too, of like when they tied it up to go into overtime, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was loud, and like literally like 5 minutes later, quiet, ghost town. It was awesome, dude.
The next game wasn't so great, but
yeah, honestly, man, there were some bad play calls, and I mean they had a chance to win it. Don't get me wrong, Ohio State team, bro. There's gonna be a lot of NFL pros on that team. They're stacked. I mean, so was Texas. So it was a great game. If that one felt more like the championship game than the final game, Ohio State smacked on Notre Dame. So congrats to them, well deserved. Yeah, man, and been working on some projects in the house lately. Water heater leaked, busted. It got into our house, and it messed up our carpet. Luckily, Jamie's been wanting to get rid of that carpet, so learned how to put in flooring with her brother. Shout out to Jamie's brother. Did most of the work, but I was kind of learning as it goes. And then they installed a new patio. We installed a new patio outside in our backyard to get some shade, make it a little bit more cozy, so we can hang out there at night. when it's a little bit warmer. Well, it's actually warm now. But we had to paint it, and I don't ever recommend painting exterior. Interior, it sucks, but like exterior painting, terrible. I don't recommend. 0 out of 10, dude.
Yeah, I've done some of that myself. Not the funnest, but hey, you got it done, and you won't have to do it for a good long while.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm starting to learn a lot of things as far as doing projects around the house. I feel like a man more every day, each and every day.
Each and every day.
What you been up to though?
Not much, man. I mean, just a whole lot of work. My new job is a little more demanding, so when I get home, I'm a little more mentally exhausted than I used to be. Definitely just trying to learn as much as I can. The position is similar yet so different. You still deal with kids, but it's in a very different way. You still deal with parents, but you deal with them a lot more. There's a lot more behind the scenes stuff that you have to do. So it's interesting. I definitely enjoy it though, and I hope to make a good impact, because the school that I'm at, they were looking for a big change, and so far from what staff and district and even parents have been saying is that, like, yeah, they see a huge positive trend. So I'm excited for what we have coming up with state testing.
That's good, man. Yeah, honestly, I can kind of see it more in your face with this new job. You just seem a little bit more, a better aura around it. You know what I mean? Well, it feels like it, at least.
I think I work for, not to disparage my previous job, but I work for a place that has just better work-life balance. They
of course
really care about it. So, it's nice. It's nice. That being said, I have been catching up on some movies and shows, which we'll talk about. Some of the stuff you recommended out of the million shows you watched last year. So tried to catch up on a few of them. And some pretty unhappy news that we got today. Beyond the Spider-Verse delayed to 2029.
That is absolutely insane. When did it's Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, or I'm just gonna call them 1, 2, and 3, right? So
you got them right. So don't doubt yourself. You got them right. That's why I'm nodding. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay. But when did the second one come out? That one came out 2023?
I think it came out 2022.
Oh my gosh! And it was supposed to come out like the very next year, right? Like in the spring or something.
Yeah, it was supposed to be one after the other, and then they lost the directors. There was supposed drama between two of the voice actors. The animators were complaining about terrible working conditions, and they had to do a complete script rewrite, which is wild to me. I don't understand how this thing fell off the rails so badly when the first two are they are the best Spider-Man movies out there. Like, I don't care what anybody says. The best description, the best way to show the spirit of Spider-Man is those two movies. So I don't know what the whole thing is about right now. I don't understand how it got so far.
Dude, so many people loved it, dude. My nephews loved it. I love it. And it's just funny because I saw a comment when I saw that news update on Instagram, and someone was like, damn, like, I'm gonna have kids watch this by the time and I was a kid myself, and now I'm gonna have a kid probably growing up watching this with them, so it's crazy how long, even from when the first one came out, which was 2020, I think.
No, I think you're right. It was like 2018, 2017. Let me look that up real quick while
they're like huge gaps is like when those movies come out, like, and I understand the second one because there was a lot of animation involved into it, so I'm sure there was a lot of work involved. And
Into the Spider-Verse was 2018, like you said.
That is crazy, dude.
Across the Spider-Verse. Oh, you were also right on that one, 2023.
Oh,
dude, it feels longer. Maybe it's in my head just because I want to see the next one.
Yeah, dude. It's what? So 6 years? 6 years? That's insane, dude.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of time, considering they were supposed to have made it the following year.
Yeah, and leaving us on a cliffhanger like that, dude, it's messed up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that they're going to be able to make the movie the same way because of the time. They're going to have to do a recap at the start, which is fine. Comics have recaps and they do the whole comic theme, so
Yeah.
that'll be easy to put in, but it's very much gonna feel disconnected to the other two just because of time.
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely crazy, man. I mean, if we're done talking about that, there is some good news, some bad news for you, but definitely good news for me, baby. Luka Doncic, man. NBA deadline happened this week, and dude, something we've never seen ever before. Luka Doncic got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. 25-year-old Luka Doncic in his prime. You just don't, and he's a franchise player, probably one of the top 5 players in the NBA right now. You don't trade that person. Like those players are considered untradeable. That'd be like trading LeBron when he was in his prime. That's crazy. Like, yeah, people leave for free agency and stuff, but you just don't do this. It's
Jason, to give our viewers an understanding of how what consequential this trade is, can you tell them what the Mavs got for Luka?
They got Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and a 2029 first round pick. 2029.
One first round pick.
And keep in mind, this guy named Rudy Gobert a couple years ago got traded from Utah to Minnesota for I believe it was 4 or 5 first round picks. Dude, like if you wanted Luka, like you could probably have six. Yeah, exactly. Probably 6 first round picks for Luka alone. I don't know what they were doing. They were in the finals last year, although there's a huge reason, I mean, why Dallas lost last year in the finals, because they exposed Luka because he cannot play a lick of defense. And that's how Boston was able to win last year, because they just like, all right, go at Luka. He can't guard any. They worked their offense around Luka's and like, all right, we got to let Luka play some defense. And that's kind of how they were easily able to expose Dallas in the finals. But Dallas wouldn't even make the finals if it wasn't for Luka carrying all throughout the Western Conference in the playoffs. So and apparently why they traded him is they had concerns with him gaining weight, conditioning and stuff. And remember when they won the Western Conference Finals last year to go to the NBA Finals, he's celebrating, he's having a beer, and then I think there's the GM or the president of operations comes and takes the beer away from him. It's like, dude, he's celebrating, bro. What the hell? Like, that's crazy. Like, so I don't know. It's under new ownership too, so maybe.
Listen, I love Luka, but did you see the picture of his press conference, like his face in that press conference?
I don't think I saw it. No.
I sent it in one of our chats. I will send it to you again right now because I want our listeners to hear your reaction to that, because I think you're gonna enjoy it.
I think you sent it.
Do a close up on that face.
Trust me, he's happy in LA, bro.
I'm sure he's happy in LA, but everything that just happened is sinking in right then and there.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, he had just bought a $12 million home in Texas too. Like, he was planning on being there for a long time.
I'm sure he was planning to retire there.
Yeah, dude. Like he and what's crazy about this, because of the trade, he can't get a supermax contract anymore, so he's losing $18 million, an extra $115 million.
He can't get a supermax.
That's pretty. He can get a max contract, but it's not a supermax, because the way it works is if you leave the team or get traded, you can't get the same amount. Like it'd be like going into free agency. You can go test the market, go with another team, but the team that you started with can pay you more, can pay you the most. And because of that trade, now he can't qualify for that. He can still get a max contract, like the most that they can, but he would be making more in Dallas, like $115 million more. Also, no state taxes in Texas versus California.
He is gonna run up the score the next time he plays Dallas.
Dude, we might see Luka just actually get in shape. Like we might have turned him into a villain, dude.
A what?
A villain.
We might have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Dallas has got a lot of love for him. I think I think Dallas fans are going to blame front office for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this though, man. AD does bring, AD's still a good player.
How old is AD?
31. I mean, he has injury issues, but they needed help on the defensive side of it, and it kind of does improve Dallas. I mean, you still got Kyrie Irving, and I'm not sure they're definitely better because they've been struggling this year. So maybe this year and next year possibly, but after that, I think long-term wise, definitely the Lakers win that trade.
Yeah, well,
but
happy for you, but as a Texas fan, that is rough. Let's move on to the last bit of concession stand. Super Bowl. Who you got? Who you got, Jason? Who you really think is going to win the Super Bowl?
Who do I think is going to win, or who do I want to win?
No, who do you think is going to win?
Honestly, the team that I want to win, I think will win it, and I think that's the Eagles, just because they had their offense is, with Saquon, their running game is amazing. They got a great offensive line, and if they need to pass, they can pass, and also their defense is amazing, dude.
Yeah, they've got an amazing defense. I think if there's anyone on this planet who can tear up that defense, though,
is the refs.
Dang right. Dang right. Listen. I think Patrick Mahomes will expose their defense as much as he possibly can. Like, the guy, say what you want about him, he's a damn good quarterback.
And I like Mahomes, man. I just hate that he plays for the Chiefs,
Yeah, I like Mahomes too. I like Travis Kelce.
Yeah, me too.
I actually like the whole team. Like, Andy Reid is one of my favorite coaches ever.
I love Andy Reid. Yeah.
I was so happy that he got fired by the Eagles, because I was like, man, it's so hard to go for. It's so hard
to deal with that.
Yeah. And Tops, I had a lot of respect for him even when he was an Eagles coach. That was the one time where I was like, nah, man, I got to give respect to the Eagles. Like,
I was very happy for when he won his first Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I do think the Chiefs have what it takes to beat Philly, and I think they have like a good amount of what it takes to beat Philly, especially in terms of experience in the Super Bowl. They've got all the right pieces, and they've got the 5th best run defense, so they can stop Saquon. And Saquon is the bread and butter of Philly's offense right now. Like, that guy is their main piece. Like, don't get me wrong, if they can find a way to get AJ Brown into how he was a couple years ago, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, he's still there, bro. Like,
they just cover him much better now, though. Like, I feel like he's got a lot more attention from defenders.
Yeah, man, you still got Devonta Smith that you can throw to, and like, I don't know, man. Like, AJ Brown has had some breakout games this year. I think he pulled a hammy earlier this year.
I thought it was just the double coverage. Like, every time I see him, there's at least 2 people around.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know, man. I hope. I think Saquon is actually 30 yards from actually breaking the all-time rushing yards in a season, like including playoffs. Terrell Davis actually holds that record. Oh, touchdown Terrell Davis, baby. Denver Broncos.
Did he beat Eric Dickerson's single season?
Yeah, he already passed it. But like the overall, like, no, that hasn't been broken. But like
single season record.
No, he didn't break it.
Oh, because Eric Dickerson said it's never going to be broken. So now I want someone to break it, just because he said it'll never be broken.
Well, I mean, he could have done it, but they sat him just to make sure, just so he didn't get injured. So Saquon didn't play. He probably could have broken it.
That's wild. If I was him, I want that. I want it.
Well, also now that NFL is thinking about expanding to 18 games, it'll get broken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, one cool thing about Media Day for the Super Bowl on Monday, dude, was I'm not sure if you've seen these on social media, but Jameis Winston was there. He's currently a free agent, so he doesn't know what team he's going to. For the listeners out there who don't know who Jameis Winston is, look him up on social medias, TikTok, whatever you're on. dude is a national treasure. He's a quarterback. He loves to throw the ball, but throws a lot of interceptions. But he's great for fantasy football because he throws the ball. He'll gun it. He doesn't care. But his personality is just what people love about him. Currently, he's a free agent. So and then on media day, like everyone's just relaxed when you're asking questions. People just ask friendly questions during the Super Bowl. And dude, you should see him. His personality, like he was going to every player's like, he's like, they're like Travis Kelce's like you're doing great and stuff like that, but the world wants to know. Everybody wants to know is where does Jameis Winston go this next year? I need a job. I'm jobless right now. Where do I need to go? And just like and the whole eating a W, right? That thing that went viral.
Yeah,
like you want to eat a W? He was throwing out W cookies to people. Dude, it's just hilarious, man. I love that guy. I hope when he does retire, he ends up getting a job with like Fox or ESPN and being a reporter because, dude, he's just hilarious, man. I love that guy.
He's great to watch. Like you can't take your eyes off
Yeah.
that guy. No, I totally
man.
agree. I saw some of those clips and it was pretty great. And you could tell he has a good relationship with most players in the league as well as like staff. Like he doesn't rub anybody the wrong way. So that's good. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into some trailers. I know we've seen a few things. Let's start off with the big one. Actually, before I do that, let's start off with the big one that's coming out next week. Captain America 4. Valentine's Day. Brave New World. What are you thinking of that trailer? They've released the full trailer. We're seeing a lot more of what it's going to be about. How are you feeling about it, Jason?
I did not watch the new one. And I don't know. When I saw the first trailer, I thought I was like, this looks okay. I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's about where it is right now. I think that it has a very good chance of being a great movie. There's a few of these actually. This one has a very good chance of being a great movie or just being very, very much mediocre.
Yeah, I'm getting like a Black Widow vibes.
Well, it is the same kind of movie, right? They're trying to make it like an espionage film. What is it? Something based in like a one world government type of thing, right? Where they're trying to stop that, just like Winter Soldier. So exactly. It definitely has that feel. I'm definitely excited to see Captain America face off against Red Hulk. That's going to be great to watch. Maybe we'll get a cool cameo. If we get Bruce Banner in there as the Green Hulk, that'd be super cool. Probably not, but that'd be super cool. But I'm excited. I'm definitely going to go watch it. We're going to see it not on Valentine's Day, but the day after.
Yeah, I'll be busy that weekend. So probably the next week after I might go see it. I got my buddy Ryan. He's getting married, and I'm a groomsman. Hey, shout out to Ryan and Kelly. They don't listen, but still, if you do end up watching, hey, congratulations. Can't wait to celebrate your wedding.
Oh, nice. Wow, they're doing it on Valentine's weekend, huh? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they planned that or it's just because it's nicer weather out here. Like, dude, it hit 86 degrees the other day here, which is crazy. We're in February. Usually it's one of the coldest months. I can't complain, dude. People got snow, we didn't, but I was freezing my balls off, dude. But compared to me, I'm used to that heat, But yeah, it's good. It's good wedding weather right now, so I'm excited for that. So, but yeah, dude, I want to watch it. I feel like I probably will end up watching it probably the week after. But let me know how it is when you do go watch it next weekend.
Yeah, we're doing it for Valentine's. We're gonna do that. We're thinking about doing like this indoor mini golf /bar.
Ooh, okay.
Cooking a meal together at home. So like a fancy meal at home together. So
that's why Jamie and I, we got reservations for a barbecue place to stuff our face, dude. Like we
originally wanted. Sorry, go ahead.
It's not very romantic, but we've been wanting to go eat at this place for a while. So
it is.
that's our love language, baby's food. So
we wanted to go to this French spot that I kid you not, we've been trying to go to for like a year, but it was booked for like pretty much the whole weekend. So we're like, well, let's pivot and we'll go to this spot. And I told her, I was like, there's this like pan Latin food spot that looks interesting as well. But she's like, nah, let's just let's grill some steaks. Let's make some some just fancy food at home. And I was like, bet. I've been trying to make some steak and try using like a creamy Cajun sauce for something. So maybe we could do something with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Next up, Fantastic Four trailer. Jason, first thoughts. I guess you would consider it a teaser. It gives a lot more than a teaser usually does, but what did you think of it?
You know what, man? I'm very excited, dude. I thoroughly enjoyed the very first Fantastic Four movies, with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans and stuff, right? Chris Evans?
Yes.
Yeah, right. He was, yeah.
And then the guy from Field, I forgot what his name is too, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but honestly, and this is just kind of obviously we're in 2025 now when this came out in the early 2000s. So at that 2000s vibe feeling to it, not the old one, right? This one is just, I don't know, just the the visuals look great. We got to see Galactus, like a glimpse of him. So that's pretty cool. I like Pedro Pascal, man. So I hope he does good as Reed Richards. Right. That was a very interesting casting. But he had been killing it in The Last of Us and Mandalorian, dude. He was hot, bro, hot commodity. Dude, Gladiator too, dude. Like, it kind of makes sense, dude. Like he is everything he's been in. It has been pretty fire, pretty amazing. So it makes sense why they did that.
He's him. I would say I agree with you. My only confusion is like it's clearly a period piece based in the 60s. So how does that play into the world of the MCU? Like, because superheroes were supposedly a brand new thing when Iron Man started in that world. And there's a lot of like characters that are now coming out to have been around, right? But this one, they've got the Future Foundation right in the middle of New York City, and no one's mentioned the Fantastic Four in the MCU up until now. I want to see how they explain it, because I thought that trailer was fantastic. I thought it really, again, going back to what I mentioned with Spider-Man, it looks like it captures the spirit of Marvel's first family, right? And dude, the Thing actually looks like the Thing in the comics. That was wild. I was like, oh my God, they made him look like the Thing.
Dude.
Yes.
First. Okay. Oh, hell yeah. Sorry, man. I just got some news update. My boy, Patrick Surtain II, PS2, just wins Defensive Player of the Year. Well deserved. Okay. First cornerback since 2019 to win that award. So pay that man. Well, I mean, we already did, but that's my favorite player right now. So congratulations, big man. Dude, so excited. But yeah, just like the Thing, bro. The Thing. Yeah, dude.
I guess we're gonna see Galactus. I want to see how it all connects to Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom and Victor Von Doom. I definitely want to see how they explain that one away as well. So I have a lot of high hopes for the way that movie looked. I think my only problem was, what's his name from Stranger Things? I don't love him with the blonde hair. Like even in Gladiator 2, I was like, blonde hair is not good on you.
But he had it. I don't like this. Sorry, I forget. He's a good actor, though. I like him in Gladiator too. Yeah.
I just wish he had his regular hair. Or watch. He's.
I mean, that wasn't his. Is that really his regular hair though? In Stranger Things too, I think that's a wig.
Oh, I just mean color wise.
Oh, like brown.
Brown. Yeah.
Brunette. Yeah.
I think he looks a lot better as a brunette. That's neither here nor there. Gabby made a good point. My wife Gabby made a good point. She's like, all of their hair looks fake as something that I won't say on air. And she was like, why does Marvel always do terrible wigs? Why? And I was like, you're right. They do.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, she has a point there. That's crazy.
You go back, like you look and you're like, yeah, they all look pretty ridiculous.
That's funny. Yeah, think about it. Like if you really think about it, it's like, yeah, that's some terrible hairstyles.
And she was comparing to DC, and she was like, "Why is it the DC has the worst movies, but all of their makeup artists and hair actually look great?" And I was all, yeah, I don't know. Warner Brothers knows how to do some things and not others, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, definitely excited to see that movie. And I hear that even Galactus's daughter might be a part of the storyline. We'll see if that happens. I don't know about it in this movie, but an overarching storyline.
Isn't the female Silver Surfer coming out?
That's what I hear. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I love Silver Surfer. I've never seen the female version, but I always thought Silver Surfer was super cool as a kid. So I'm excited for that, and to show off his crazy powers. I really hope, though, like if we see Silver Surfer, that we see someone that can square up against him one-on-one. Like the Fantastic Four can go up against, well, I guess it'll be her in this situation, can go up against her as a team, but you know, it'd be cool to see someone like maybe Thor or, you know, Captain Marvel go up against Silver Surfer. It'd just be cool.
Yeah.
There's another movie that I actually saw a preview of that I was pretty interested in, starring quite a few famous actors. Let me get the list up. It's got Pete Davidson, Jennifer Coolidge, Bill Murray, Lewis Pullman, Ed Harris, Gabrielle Union, Dustin Hoffman.
Damn.
Yeah, quite a few. It's called Riff Raff, and it is described as a former criminal's ordinary life turns upside down when old family shows up for a long-awaited reunion. And this old family actually has them all tied up, and it looks like they're going to try to kill them all. And so it plays back to everything that happened up to that point. So I'm excited. It looks like a well-written comedy / action movie, very much in the tone of Guy Ritchie films or Quentin Tarantino films. Not to say that it's going to have as good of dialogue, but it's got the potential and it's got the actors. So I'm pretty excited to watch that one. That one's coming out this month, February 28th.
Yeah, February 28th. Dude, it's funny. You put that in the notes. I was like, Riff Raff, you're talking about the rapper? You know?
No, the film coming out February 28th of this year.
Yeah,
check out the trailer. You probably haven't seen that one. Now, that being said, there's a trailer that you have seen that I really want to watch. So tell us a little bit about that one, Jason, because since I was, and I kid you not, since I was 3 years old, I have been obsessed with these movies.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you every chance you get when we're recording, you bring that up, which is fair because I love those movies as well. I mean, it's the reason why we grew up loving dinosaurs, right? But yeah, Jurassic Park, man, Rebirth, right? Jurassic Park Rebirth. It's coming out. I didn't get the dates. Do you remember the date?
I'll get that for you.
But yeah, it's Chris Pratt's not coming back. It's actually some new cast members, which will be Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali, if I pronounce that right.
Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali. Yeah, and it looks like they're going back to the old island from the very first, because they left dinosaurs there to study, and they left the most dangerous there in that island. So you get to see like a T-Rex. You'll see the Velociraptors. Man, it looks really good, man. It looks better than the Jurassic World movies.
Well, it is a Jurassic World movie. It is called Jurassic World Rebirth, so it's still part of that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It looked better than the second one and the third one. The first one, though, the first Jurassic World looked really cool, trailer wise.
Yeah. Just to name a few more actors, those of you who are big fans of, gosh, what is that show called? Oh my God, it is on Netflix. Jason, help me out here.
Nobody wants it.
Bridgerton. I apologize. Bridgerton fans. Jonathan Bailey. He plays the Viscount Bridgerton, right? Yeah, Viscount Bridgerton, and he's also in Wicked. He is the prince in Wicked. He is coming out in this as well, and so is Ed Skrein. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Now, you guys know him as one of the villains in multiple movies. He is a villain in Alita Battle Angel. He's a villain in Deadpool. And he's a villain in Rebel Moon. And he plays the same kind of villain in each of those movies. He is a pompous jerk is the word that I'll use right now. He's got that face, he's got that face that looks just like a total douche. That's that face he's got. You know what I'm saying? He also comes out in Midway on the opposite end, where he is, a fighter pilot. So if you guys know of him, he's also coming out in this. I'm pretty excited to watch this movie.
Yeah, man, it looks really good. I'm excited for it. Nice little teaser trailer. So definitely going to catch that in theaters just because you kind of have to watch.
What do we see in the teaser, Jason? Tell me, what do we see?
We saw T-Rex, Velociraptor. What's that one big dinosaur from the ocean? That looks cool, man. Those boat scenes look really sweet.
Dinosaur. Oh my gosh, the one that's in Jurassic World.
Megalosaur. I don't know, dude.
Oh my god. Not a megalodon. It is it's bigger. It's not
something with an M though, right?
God, this is gonna kill me. Oh my god, what is it called? Give me a second. You're right. Let me look it up. You're right. It is a Mosasaurus. Oh my gosh.
Mosasaurus. There we go. I knew I was gonna get that one right.
I'm upset with myself for not remembering that. But yeah, Mosasaurus, the largest dinosaur to ever roam in water. I think largest dinosaur ever because it's the only water dinosaur, one of the only water dinosaurs, and it's the largest one. So yeah, largest.
Yeah, I mean that's all I remember, bro. Was there anything else that you wanted to highlight?
No, I haven't seen the trailer. So.
Oh, you haven't seen the trailer? Okay.
That's why
I mean, it looks like.
Tell me about the trailer.
Yeah, so they're going back to the park. I don't know why. They're tif to collect some DNA because I don't know if they're just trying to recreate and some other dinosaurs, but they have to go back to the island for whatever reason, which I'm sure we'll find out when we watch the movie. And
I have a question.
What?
Does it explain like what's going on with the dinosaurs on land? Did they just kill them all off? Or
no, all I know is that in this park is I guess it's from the very first park, and they ended up abandoning that park and left the most dangerous dinosaurs there, and they're going back, it seems like. Or it could be the island from the Jurassic World one. But it looks like it's from the first Jurassic Park.
Oh, we're going back in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like from the first. It looks from Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World. It looks very interesting, man. I highly recommend it. Watching the trailer, I know you'll be pumped. I'm excited to watch this. I think it comes out in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check here for you. Well, it's set to come out in 2025. I don't have the actual date. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I do want to I guess we can move on into TV land and let's have some other trailers. Oh, actually, another trailer coming up is Invincible Season 3. The first 3 episodes are actually set to come out tomorrow, which is February 6th. I'm excited for that, dude. The last 2 seasons have been great. Wait, my bad. It came out today. February 6th is today. Thursday, not Friday. Yeah, bro. But what are your thoughts on that? Have you seen them yet? Or I mean, obviously you just got out of work when we started recording. So
yeah, I haven't gotten to watch it yet. I hear there's already a lot of hype about what it's gonna look like. Haven't seen any previews or anything, so I'm just ready for it. I want to see what Mark and Alan do together. I want to see Alan find them first. I do feel like his dad is going to try to kill Alan, right? But Alan looks like he could hold his own against Viltrumites now, so that's exciting.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot stronger. Got beefed up, but yeah, dude, that's some good storylines. I feel like there's still more that we're gonna learn. They're bringing new characters, new voice actors too. I mean, they already have a star cast of a lineup with those voice actors, and they're bringing a few more. I can't remember which ones, but yeah, I'm excited for them to bring them on board. Have you ever noticed what I really like about Prime is like if you hold the arrow down just to see like who's voicing the characters and stuff, or you press pause, you can see in that scene like who
and the song that's playing in the scene,
the
it's
name of
just
the actor. Yeah. I really love that Prime does that. Like I wish every other streaming service did that.
Yeah, I do too. I think that I think Prime goes unappreciated, especially lately. Shout out to Secret Level, by the way, on Prime. That was fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
Have you watched that yet, Jason?
Secret Level? No.
Yeah. What you doing for the next like 2 hours?
Probably going to bed after this, my friend.
You should watch it in bed then. No, but I am excited for it. I love Invincible. I think it's some great animation. And I want them to bring back that character that beat the crap out of Mark when he went to another planet. And
the lion character?
Yes.
He's got a tiger. Oh, wait,
he's
coming back.
Yeah, he's a lion. I want to see them bring him back, and I want to see him fight his dad.
Well, from my understanding, is he's actually like an ongoing character in the actual comics, and he can actually kick Omni-Man's ass or something.
Yeah, which I would love to see that fight go down, because I think Omni-Man would probably know that he can kick his ass. So that'd be a great battle to watch, because he'd be like, no, I need you, Mark. Like this one, I need you. Because I feel like that's one thing about Invincible. It feels like, I mean, maybe we don't have enough time with him yet, but it almost feels like he's never going to get to the strength of his father and his people. But I think it'll require a little more time to get him there.
Yeah, I mean, I know they did renew it for a 4th season, so hopefully this season does well. And I'm kind of glad that they're not going to release like 4 episodes and then the final 4 go off on a hiatus for like 3-4 months and then release the next 4. That was stupid. I hate when they do that. Yeah, just release it once a week. We could keep us on our toes and be like, all right, can't wait for the next episode. I do like the trailer that they released a while back, kind of breaking the 4th wall and stuff. And they made a little joke about it. I thought that was cool. So yeah, man, the writing is great. The animation's cool. It's nice. It feels like the DC comics, the animations and stuff like that, which I'll get into a little in our TV Land segment. But yeah, lastly, man, did you hear that they're making a Holes reboot?
I did hear they're making a Holes reboot. Yeah.
And it's going to be a TV series, so they're not going to make it a movie, and it's going to be an all-female cast.
What's the age range for this show? Like, who's their audience? I mean, it's got to be like, we're talking preteens.
Yeah, I'm not sure who they're going to try and target. Like, it's just in the works. I'm not even sure if they're going to green light it yet, but it seems like it's close to being greenlit. And I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about a reboot for it. I feel like Holes itself, the first movie with Shia LaBeouf, perfect, dude. I don't think it needs a reboot, dude. But
that's just not the way Disney works.
Yeah,
I agree with you. They don't need to reboot everything, but I think unpopular opinion, because I know that in the group text everyone was really upset about the reboot, but I think a reboot aimed at, I'd say, like 9 to 12 or even 8 to 12-year-olds could do really, really well, because I don't think they should remake a movie because the movie was done so well. I think a show would be a much better way to do this, because I don't think there's any need for it. And it's a good way to, as selfishly as a parent, for me to go and say, like, I mean, mind you, Katia already likes the original. She doesn't love it, but if she watches the reboot, and we know that it's going to be a female cast this time around, right?
Yeah.
If she loves the reboot and she likes things that star girls, because she is a girl, I can probably get her to rewatch the original with a little more attentiveness than she did the first time around.
Yeah, I guess so. I think the only reason why I don't like the female cast is just like some of the jokes that they do in the originals movies, because it's based off a book, right?
Yeah.
Like I forget the dude with the cowboy hat, right? was like, he kept saying like, "Oh, this ain't no summer girls camp, right?" And like the whole time in the movie, right, is like, you guys are here to dig holes and stuff like that as punishment. This ain't no summer girls camp. This ain't no summer girls camp. And then at the end, right, the narrator, which is Shia LaBeouf, he's like, I was like, yeah, it started raining at this at the dried lake, and now it's going to be turned into a summer girls camp, right? Like, there's just like some little subtle jokes where I feel like I don't know how they'll do it, and like to the, you know, again, it's based off a book, and that book, it's great, it's for kids, you know. That's what I feel like. That's one of the few books I ever read that I enjoyed. So I don't know how I feel about it. But yeah, I think there's just like a lot of stuff that happens in the book and the movie don't really relate to it if they make it an all girls cast. And I think that's the reason why I was kind of like, I don't know if they should do that personally.
That's fair. I mean, I'm gonna give it a chance because it's not gonna make it past the pilot, right? Because they're gonna do a pilot and then
do a pilot first. Yeah.
So if it doesn't do well, they're probably just gonna scrap whatever they filmed and not go with the rest. They're gonna have a strong cast, so they're gonna have to find the right young actresses to get into that. And I hope that it still captures the same style, like a little bit gritty, not like a noir film or anything, but a little bit gritty for a kid's story. Very much gets into a little bit of bullying, right? A little bit of what the prison system looks like. Like, it really is like a weird like analogy of prison and like pointless labor. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting that like this is a kid's story, but I hope they still have those themes.
You know what would really be cool, but I doubt it's going to happen because the budget, right? Their budget, what it's going to look like. I mean, Disney could throw money at it, but it'd be kind of cool to have like Zero, like the kid that played Zero from the original cast, play the counselor, the one with the sunscreen on his nose, and then have Shia LaBeouf play the other one with the cowboy hat.
I don't think they could pay Shia LaBeouf.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you need a big budget for that, but it'd be pretty cool, like, to have them play the older characters, right?
That'd be great. I also don't know that Shia LaBeouf would take that role. I think that's a surprise for him.
I mean, he had a lot of fun. He's still, I mean, I think him and that, I forgot that kid's name, Zero, his actual name, but I think they're like still, like, they still talk to each other every now and then. Like, so I'm sure he had fun, like, filming the movie. So it'd be kind of cool, but like, you know, Shia LaBeouf, he's very out there. So, but he looks like he's in a good spot right now. So who knows? Maybe. I really doubt it. But again, it's that money. Yeah, I got to throw a lot of money at him. So
yeah, you'd have to give him a good amount of money, and I don't think this is that kind of show. I think this is a show that's going to be made for kids. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, right? Like, maybe they're going to try to make it a whole family show, but I doubt it. I think it's going to be very much like a. Did you ever see Ms. Marvel?
No, never.
Yeah, it's aimed at little girls. Like,
yeah.
It has some great episodes, but overall, like, it's not a show that was made for me or you. And it does well at what it does. Like, my daughter, again, loved Ms. Marvel. She thought it was really cool because it's a girl, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're not gonna throw that kind of cash at Shia LaBeouf unless they're trying to make it for the whole family, right?
Well, yeah, I think if they want to appease like the old fans, and then again, you know, like you said, you know, get, you know, kids that you want representation, right, with the little girls, that's something to be inspired by. That's cool, man. And then you bring Shia LaBeouf and Zero, you're gonna make both parties happy, I feel like.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
That's a great idea, honestly. Yeah. I love that. I love when they do that in movies and shows too. So I'm like, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, like the movie Wicked, right? Did you ever see the musical? The movie?
Yeah.
How they brought the original cast members, right? I didn't know who they were because I never seen the Broadway, right? Or
really?
Yeah. Jamie did one of those to me. She's like, those are the original characters. I was like, yeah, that's cool.
The brunette, Idina Menzel, also plays Elsa in that kids movie, the famous kids. Why am I drawing?
The not so good, great movie. Yeah, just kidding. Frozen.
Frozen, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? Yeah, Frozen. She plays Elsa in Frozen as well.
Yeah, man. So so like, yeah, when they do stuff like that, like that's cool because they're honoring the people that was before them, right? That's sign of respect, and people like that nerd out, like all of us do. It doesn't matter who you are, like that. I think that was super cool. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, again, I didn't know the characters until like Jamie again whispered that to my ear. I was like, oh, that's cool, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was really well done, especially because they can sing, obviously.
Yeah, and the songs are honestly growing on me, dude. I didn't think it would. When I first saw the movie, I was like, this is an okay movie. And then ended up seeing the second time during the Christmas holidays, and I was like, this is a really good movie. This is a really
like, I hope you're happy.
Yeah, that popular songs cool.
In on Broadway, like I said, well, not on Broadway, off Broadway, I saw it, and that one was really fun to watch live.
Yeah, I mean, I love Broadway shows. I like musicals. Like I like watching them, like plays and stuff. I mean, I'm a theater kid at heart. Back in my day, so I like watching it because, like, oh man, this is truly amazing. Like the sets and like the whole theater aspect of it, the lighting, the shows. Like I love that stuff. Like, cause it's just like I did that. You know, I was like, I wonder what they're doing backstage, right? Yeah, like I wonder how many like hours they rehearsed and stuff. Like it's just so cool. The production of it too. Like it was always a fun time putting up a show. So
yeah,
did that. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got. Let's move on to some TV land, man. Oh wait,
I don't care if it's been tread on. If they don't say I'm tired, Grandpa, and that's too damn bad.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Like honestly, like a generational quote. You can't not put that one in. I don't care what the new holes is gonna be. Like they got to put that in.
You know, it's funny. Like I saw some people, I think it's TikTok or social media, IG. Someone was like, "Oh, that's where that's from." I thought it was just a meme. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, man, these kids are young, dude. Like they don't know where it's from."
To be fair, I'm gonna be totally transparent. I never saw Holes. I never read the book, and I saw it because Dita showed it to me, and because she always quoted that, and she was like, "Yeah, it's from Holes." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then the scene came up. I was like, "Oh, there it is." There it is. That's what my wife says.
Oh, Hole's a great movie. Dude. I watch that like at least like once, twice a year, just because I'll put it on. So
it's a very good movie. Honestly, very good movie. The show has some pretty big shoes to fill, and that's why I'm like, yeah, if they redid it with boys, I think it would actually be harder. Like when I think about it,
up to that, right?
Yeah, they'd directly be compared to the movie. That would be rough. I wouldn't want to have to do that.
I feel that. What do you give the old movie a score? I give that 8.7, dog. 8.9. 8.8.
Okay. I saw it as an adult. So if you're like, dude, that's low, I'm sorry. You know, I just can't see it through a kid's eyes the way I could as a kid.
Fair enough.
So somewhere around like a 7.5.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I take it. That's a good score.
Huh?
That's a good score.
Yeah, it is a good score. I feel like if I was a kid and I'd seen it, and my wife swears up and down that I would have been obsessed with it if I saw it as a kid. But I feel like if I was a kid and I had seen it, I'd probably be like, fucking 9. You know what I mean? Like, that's the greatest movie.
That's a 10.
But yeah,
moving on.
Let's go to your TV land, Jason, because you are the one, the only, the Star Wars guru, the chosen one himself. Jason walks on the sky. He is our Jedi. Tell us about Skeleton Crew, sir.
Walking on the sky. I get it. I see what you did there. Yeah, dude, I was very hesitant to watch Skeleton Crew. I'm not gonna lie. We binged. Go ahead.
You watched it through the lenses of a child, right? Because it looks very much like it's a kid's show.
No, okay, that's not the reason why it took me so long to watch it. The reason why it took me long to watch it was because of Acolyte.
Oh,
that was terrible. That's probably one of the worst things Star Wars has ever made. And I was like, and then when I saw the trailer come in for Skeleton Crew, I was like, oh my God, this might be just as bad. Right.
I mean, it just looks like a kid's show. You know what I mean? Like it again, not aimed at us at all. Like it looks very much like for kids.
And you know, I know Star Wars is for kids, but I love Star Wars, so I'm okay with that.
There's a difference though, right? Like there's like the Star Wars animated shows are aimed at kids, but they have like overarching storylines that adults actually can enjoy. The same way that, you know, I'm gonna throw this in here. I just took my daughter to watch the Dogman movie. Those of you who are parents or those of you who deal with young children know who Dogman is. The creator of Captain Underpants made a story with the kids from Captain Underpants writing a comic book, and it's called Dogman, right? And getting through that movie, really what it is they make it accessible to parents, which is a weird way to say it. But, you know, some kids' movies or shows are just made for kids, and that's okay. That's what I feel like the animated Star Wars are like. They're made for kids, but those overarching storylines are accessible to adults, right? They play into larger Star Wars themes. They play into the lore. They add complexity to it that a kid might not initially notice until they get a little bit older. This show seems very much like, no, we want this to be for kids. We want kids to get excited about it. We want it to be energetic. We want it to be cute. We don't care if adults like it. I don't know if I'm right about that. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but that's what it feels like.
That is honestly kind of exactly what it was. There wasn't really much overarching, I would say, like, you know, where there's like deeper meanings into the Star Wars lore. I mean, you see some stuff of like, you know, it kind of feeds into the Old Republic. So like years before the Skywalker saga of how it used to be, like, where do credits come from? Like this planet, the planet that these kids are from, create the money, right? And I won't get too involved in it. I promise I said it was gonna be a little quick hitter. But it was very fun. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of there's some moments where you know, when it looks like these kids were having a good time and the directors were having a good time filming it, because there was moments where you can tell the director told the kid to do this. It's like, hey, do a little flip here, or do a little spin, do a little slide here. And then like there's just moments where Jamie and I were fucking cracking up because like they didn't have to do that. Like, it's like, why is she sliding at this part? Like, that's just and she had just whispered to be like, hey, be quiet, the enemies are around, and she slides and makes a lot of noise. Like, that's stupid. Like, what are you doing? Or she's saying bye to one of the characters, and like she jumps on like this piece of stone and does a flip to go away, right? And like this little kid's like supposed to be in awe of her, right? There was just like little moments, but like it's the director telling the kid to do it, which was funny. Like, again, it didn't make me we weren't laughing because we hated on it. It was just because it was like silly. Like, it was like you can tell these kids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like you didn't have to do that in the movie, but I think that was like probably my only like negative takeaway from it. But it was still funny. Like, it didn't ruin anything for me. I will say this: if you grew up watching the Goonies and you love the Goonies, just picture this show is a Star Wars version of the Goonies. Kids having an adventure, they get lost, they run into pirates, and they end up saving their planet and coming back home. They get lost, and it's just a great adventure for them. If you like Stranger Things, it's kind of like that. It's not spooky at all, but they have a cute character. That was my favorite character. His name was Neil. He looks like a little blue little elephant with a trunk. He was cool. Like, he played the kid who was just like the innocent kid who didn't want to do adventure stuff, right? He's kind of terrified, right? And his like best friend is the one that's like always wanting to go to adventure. Let's do this. Let's get into trouble, right? And of course, he's the one that gets into trouble and lost into space. And then we get Jude Law's in it. He is force sensitive somehow. I don't know if he's I don't know.
Is he like the priest in Rogue One?
Is he like kind of
priest, a monk, or whatever he was?
Yeah, I think he mentions, if I recall, that because he ends up revealing, spoiler alert, he's the bad guy, right? He tries to befriend the kids so he can, because he finds that these kids, they get lost and they have credits, like old Republic credits, which are worth like a lot of money, but to them it's like pennies because their planet makes this credits, and this world is that they're from, that they get lost from. The kids are like, we're just trying to get back home. I'm like, well, where are you from? I'm like, we're from this planet. They're like, what? That planet doesn't exist. That's a myth. And I was like, no, I'm like, wait, are you serious? And like, they find the money on them. They're like, oh, maybe they are telling the truth. Like, wait, is there more money like this? They're like, yeah, this is just like change. And then they're like, whoa. So, and Jude Law's a pirate. So he's like, I got to find this planet. Right. So he tries to like, I'll get you home, but in his best interest. Right. So that's kind of how the story kind of goes into it. It's a really good story, dude. And again, it's like, pirates looking for that treasure. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say your description right now is giving me like Hook vibes.
Yeah, like Goonie Hook vibes. Like that's exactly what that feels, and like I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, just because.
I love those movies.
Yeah, it really took me back to those movies. So I had a blast. I highly recommend it. Again, some of the acting and like some of the direction is a little like off, but overall I had fun. So in my notes here I put a 6.2. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'd probably give it like a 6.7 for my overall score. But yeah, it's fun, man. I think Katya would probably enjoy it. It's very short episodes.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been avoiding showing it to her because I don't really want to watch it. So I was like, if she sees it, she might want to watch it, but she hasn't said anything yet. She saw it once. She's like, "Oh, Star Wars," and I was like, "Yep, that's true. Yeah. That's true."
I think you'll enjoy it. Like I think it's only like 6 episodes, I think, and they're about 30 minutes long. I think the first one's like 45 minutes. It's a breeze, dude. It's a breeze. But yeah, just wanted to keep it short and simple because it came out last year in December. Check it out, Star Wars fans, or if you enjoyed the Goonies growing up as a kid, we got a lot of listeners that are around our age for our podcast. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend check it out, especially if you grew up on the Goonies.
Obviously, if you've got kids, probably a good one to watch. Yeah.
Even if you don't got kids, I don't got kids, I still enjoy it.
Again, full disclosure, I feel like you're going to think I didn't have a childhood, but I didn't see Hook until I was an adult too, but I loved it. I was like, this is a great movie. Yeah. Goonies, I didn't see until I was like a teenager. Like I was like maybe 14.
You just didn't have cable. That's what that was.
I had cable. Okay. I got it like when I was like 9. I had cable. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Yeah, TNT was your friend. USA, TBS, playing those reruns of movies,
You know what it was? I spent most of my time watching Cartoon Network, so I didn't.
I did too.
Yeah, I didn't catch a lot of those, and nobody like sat me down to watch them. So,
dude, you know which movie I really loved as growing up as a kid, and I think everyone can attest to this one: Mummy and Mummy Returns.
Oh yeah, great,
awesome, dude.
Those are some of the best movies that came out when we were kids that were just like full on action family films.
Just great so stuff. Fun. Yeah.
If they brought him back for another one, I don't care how old he is, I'd watch Brendan Fraser again in another mummy movie.
I think I would too, man. I think I'd be pretty excited for that, honestly.
He said he'd do it too. He was like, tell me where and when. I enjoyed every single one I made. And I was like, that's cool. Yeah, let's go to your next one, Jay.
Yeah, man.
Show. It looks good. The animation looks fantastic. James Gunn always does great writing, so I definitely want to hear how the storyline went a little bit, and you can give us your rating.
Yeah, so Creature Commandos on Max. For those who don't know what Creature Commandos is just pretty much another version of the Suicide Squad. Now, the reason why they call them Creature Commandos is because Suicide Squad had happened, and the government said, "Is like, yo, we can't send villain like humans that's against the law. Like, we can't do that." So their loophole around it was like, well, yes, we can't have humans do our CIA work for us, but they didn't say anything about creatures. So that's why they call them Creature Commandos. So like they'll do all our CIA bidding for us, and they're villains. So if they die, who cares? They're villains, right? That's pretty much how Suicide Squad is, right? So instead of going out to villains that we know, we get these Creature Commandos. The Weasel's in it. He came out in that Suicide Squad movie, the remake with James Gunn, played by his brother Sean Gunn, which I had no idea they were brothers until I was researching some of the characters and who voiced the characters. He also voices G.I. Robot, which is another favorite character of mine that I love. And for the people who don't know who Sean Gunn is, I think, because I'm not good with names all the time as well. But for the listeners out there, if you grew up watching Gilmore Girls, I'm sure you guys remember Kirk. That's Sean Gunn, dude. And then another one, he was also in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, right? So that was really fun, dude. I liked his voice and characters. But my favorite character of Creature Commandos was Dr. Phosphorus, played by Alex Tudyk. Right, Luigi?
Yes. I think it's Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk.
I thought it was Alex Tudyk. Man, I spelled it wrong. My bad, y'all. But Dr. Phosphorus, he, if you guys grew up watching Batman Beyond, Dr. Phosphorus, it was inspired by Blight, that character, the radioactive one. So, so yeah, dude, and he had some very gnarly kills, dude. Like, I don't know, dude. It was just like you can say it has James Gunn written all over it. If you guys like Guardians of the Galaxy, you'll like this show, but it's just a lot more gory and animated. It feels like Invincible meets like Suicide Squad from the movie. I don't know. It's just great. Every episode, they do backstories to the Commando Creatures Squad. So everyone has a backstory of how they got there and are they really good or how they turned into a villain. Some of them have some very funny backgrounds, but a lot of them have some very heartbreaking backgrounds. So you kind of feel although they are villains, you actually kind of feel for them and kind of root for them at the end and as you go on. So
I feel like James Gunn is really, really good at character development especially when it comes to comic characters. Like
character development with Rocket alone, right?
Yeah, Rocket alone. You're right. That was great. I mean, he did a great job with Star-Lord. He did a good job with Gamora, and oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his sister's name, Nebula. I think he did a great job with all of those movies. And even going back further, when they did the remake of Day of the Dead, you became very invested in these characters because his writing on that film was very well developed. Like he did a really good job. So I'm excited to watch this show. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but what's your overall rating again?
Well, before I go into that, the characters that voice these, the actors that voice these characters, James Gunn has said if he decides to bring any of these characters from Creature Commandos to live action, the actors that voice these characters will play the live action characters. So I thought that was really cool.
I like that he came out like straight out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just this is what's going to happen.
And Creatures Commando is canon. So they acknowledged what happened in Suicide Squad. They brought it up. So anything in his DC universe, Creature Commandos is canon. So it's part of the movie. So they could make references to movies later down the road that James Gunn helps write. So I think that's really cool.
Speaking of, since we haven't talked about it, the Superman trailer came out. What did you think of it, Jason?
You know what? At first I didn't like it, but then it kind of grew on me.
I feel like it harkens back to like the old school Superman.
Yeah.
Like the very much like Golden Boy, all American kind of character.
Christopher Reeve's Superman.
Yes, very much that kind of Superman. I think they wanted to step as far away as they could from the darker version. I mean, and at that, he wasn't even that dark of a version in Zack Snyder, but the darkest version of Superman we've seen for sure.
Yeah, and I was never really a Superman fan growing up as a kid. I always kind of hated Superman because Batman was my favorite, and I don't know, I was just like, because I like Batman, I can't like Superman. You know what I mean?
Even as a kid, my whole thing with Superman was like, what story is there to have with him? He can do anything. What's the fun in that? Right. Like they always had these stories where these crazy villains would go up against him, and in my head, I always thought they could just destroy the earth. Like, what are we talking about? What's the point of this? And to an extent, that is true, but I think this film has a lot of the fun elements of Superman that we didn't get to see. And my daughter, I keep bringing her up, but like, but this is how much like I see a lot of things aimed towards kids now that should be aimed at kids. My daughter was so excited when she saw Crypto, and I was like, "That's a really good addition," because honestly, that's gonna bring in a lot of kids, having those little characters that you would not have expected to see in the film.
Yeah, it looks fun. I mean, I'm glad again James Gunn is like the forerunner of all this, so. It looks great. Like, it looks very colorful, so it looks like it's going to grab kids' attention too. But also, I feel like he's going to stay true to a lot of things. So I think even the people that grew up with this will probably enjoy it as well.
Yeah, let's hope for the best on that one.
Now, overall score, I would give it a 8.7. So very close to that. Yeah, dude, it's really good. It's just as good as X-Men 97 and Invincible in my eyes.
That's some high praise, because those honestly are some of the best animated shows.
It made me laugh. It hit me in the feels. Like I wanted to cry for some of these characters, like Weasel's backstory, man. Oh, heartbreaking. Watch that. It's so good. So
he's such a weird looking character. I'm glad they humanize him a bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on to some of mine before we talk about the one that we've both seen. I'm gonna run through these a little bit quickly. So we've got American Primeval. That one came out on Netflix actually in January. Now, American Primeval is mainly about a woman who is trying to get her son from Boston all the way to a town in Utah. So they go through the Utah territory. The only person that I recognized, well, not the only, but one of the only people that I recognized was Taylor Kitsch, who's come out in quite a few things. The whole story is about that and how his character kind of helps them out in this sense. It is very much a Western. It's a very dark Western. It's very gritty. It shows a different side to the Mormons that actually I read in history class, but I hadn't seen portrayed on film, which was interesting because when Mormons did first start, they were very violent and they were pretty aggressive towards outsiders, and it shows that a little bit. It shows a little bit of that. And mind you, some of it was because American society at the time did not like Mormons. They did not like them at all. But at the same time, Mormons were just as aggressive and dangerous as American society was towards them. So it was a bit of a mutual violence between the two. It shows some of the relationships between the Native Americans and Mormons and just settlers in the West. A good way to show manifest destiny. I don't want to talk too much about it because I think you should definitely check it out. Extremely violent show. My kid watched some of it. She's like, I think I'm okay. So I was like, that's fair. This is pretty violent. Lots of pretty intense deaths. I'd give it an 8. I think a solid 8. I would not go below an 8. The only reason I gave it an 8 is because there are chunks where it does, as Westerns do, it does kind of drag. Yeah, there are chunks where it drags a little bit, but it does kind of build on what the landscape feels like, what it looks like, how people interacted, and it shows you a lot of that. In comparison, I did see Horizon, the Kevin Costner directed and starred film. That one should have been a show. Honestly, it should have been a show because it would have been a great show. You could tell that he had a lot more that he wanted to do with it. And I don't know that the second film is going to be made because the first film was pointless. I'm not going to lie. I would give it about a 4 because it's well made. The story by the end, you're like, this was absolutely pointless. Why did I watch this movie? I feel like I'm watching the start to a movie, and it's 3 hours.
Is that movie out in theaters or is it out somewhere right now?
It's actually out on. When I saw it, it was on Netflix.
Netflix, okay.
So I immediately compared American Primeval and Horizon because they're both
on Netflix.
Yeah, both on Netflix, both Westerns. Although I'm surprised it's not on Paramount Plus already. But anyway. American Primeval, rated an 8. If you're a Western kind of person, definitely watch this. If you like period pieces, if you like action, this is a show to watch.
Sign me up, dude. Sign me up. Adding it to the queue right now, guys. That's a queue. Queue is an app where you can put stuff on your queue of stuff that you want to watch or stuff that's coming out, and you can rate stuff. It's pretty cool to kind of keep connected of like, oh, this is what I watched. Here's what I want to watch. I like it. It's kind of like Letterboxd, but it also includes shows, so I like it better.
Oh yeah, I think I'll have to check that. I think I downloaded the app and then just never used it.
You do.
Of course, me. But yeah, I would say American Primeval 8, Horizon, an American Saga a 4, because it was promising. But if you give me a movie for 3 hours that has absolutely no resolution, I'm gonna be upset at the end. I'm going to be upset,
That's fair.
You sit me down for 3 hours, you better give me a story that ends Sure, it's supposed to be part of a saga, but give me like because they start about 4 different storylines in this that don't really get finished and go almost nowhere. They waste a villain halfway through the movie. So those were some issues that I had with Horizon. In contrast, American Primeval wraps things up with a nice bow at the end and ends the way a typical Western does, where it's just kind of like, yep, that's how it is in the old West, and you move on, but it makes sense. So that's all I'll say about it. I don't want to ruin it too much, and I don't want to over tread on this water. So I'm gonna move on. Next one for me came out on Christmas Day. I'm sure many of you have seen it. Nosferatu. Nosferatu. I'm gonna start with my rating because I feel like I'm gonna talk about it as if it's not a good movie, and it's a very good movie. It's a very, very good movie. Like
I hear the cinematography is amazing.
It is. It is. Robert Eggers directed. The cinematography in the film is, I would say, perfect. I would say it's absolutely perfect. Bill Skarsgård is haunting as the main character. Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it. He plays a role of a friend, I would say. And this follows, if any of you have read or had to read Dracula like I did in high school, it follows Dracula very closely, very, very closely. Lily Rose Depp does a really good job as a woman who is cursed. It definitely shows that. Willem Dafoe, as he does in any film, steals the scene every time he's in one. Nicholas Hoult does a great job as well. Overall, I give the movie an 8.7. But as I watched the film, and maybe it's because of the tone of the film, or that I felt like I needed to see more of his name is Count Orlok, but really it's just Dracula. It's Count Dracula.
I thought it was Nosferatu.
Yeah, I think that's another name for. They explained it in the movie too, but I think that's another name for a vampire, like a demon of the night or something. Don't quote me there, but side note. So the reason Nosferatu is even a film is because the German director who made it in the 20s, or is it in the teens? The German director who made it in the early 1900s could not get the rights to make the film from Bram Stoker. Bram Stoker was an Irish writer who did the original story, and he couldn't get the rights from the estate of Bram Stoker. And so he just decided to rebrand the name and made the movie anyway. And that's how we got Nosferatu, but really it is the same storyline as Dracula. Now, this did well for both sides because the film did very well and people were extremely afraid of it. And that is where we got some of the earliest forms of horror tropes where you see shadows before you see the actual creature, right? Robert Eggers actually does a very good ode to that in the film. And it actually did really well for the Dracula book as well because it got a ton more sales after the film came out. That's just a side note, not really super important, but I thought I'd throw that in there. What's missing for me, again, is just that it felt like it was a little bit, and again, it is about a vampire, right? But it felt like I maybe I didn't get enough of Dracula, or Count Orlok. It felt like there was something that I was waiting for in the film that never came. And that's where I was left wanting something that I wasn't sure what it was. And I just didn't get it. And I was like, I don't feel fulfilled. That's what it was. I didn't feel fulfilled. I can't explain it. There's nothing wrong with the film. This is just me personally. Because the acting is fantastic. The writing is fantastic. The directing, the cinematography, it should honestly go into Oscars talk if it made the deadline. But it was missing something.
Is it how it ended? Possibly.
Could be. I mean, it is a depressing end, but if you read Dracula, you knew it was coming. You know what I mean? Like if you know the Dracula storyline, the original storyline, you know what's going to happen. It's not shocking. And I fell in love with Willem Dafoe's character, who really I forget his name in the film. Let me
Van
he
Helsing.
Professor. Yeah, he's Van Helsing, but
Yeah.
he's Professor Albin. Albin. Yeah, I think that's the character's name. But yeah, he's Professor Albin in the film, and I just every scene he's in, I'm like, this is what I came here to watch. I guess he brought energy to the film that I was wanting a little bit more of. Now that being said, now that I speak from my disappointment, I want to throw in a little more love to the film. The way they depict everything that Dracula is able to do, that Count Orlok is able to do, is amazing. Like in the book, he brings the plague with hundreds and hundreds of rats that come on the ship that he was in, and they do that in the film. You see people dying in the streets, all like full of the plague, like the bubonic plague. Yeah, and that is part of the storyline. I loved seeing that. I loved the character. Gosh, I forget his name. Renfield. Renfield's character in this film, he is
Aaron
not
Taylor Johnson.
No, Aaron Taylor Johnson plays the cousin who doesn't believe.
Frederick Harding.
Say what?
He plays Frederick Harding.
Yes, he's I think it's Nicholas Holt's cousin or a close friend. And his story is actually extremely depressing, but we don't need to go into that. I don't want to ruin the film. You got to watch it. But Renfield's character is very well done. I think it's fantastic. The guy who does it looks like an absolute lunatic throughout the whole film. That's the kind of energy that I enjoyed watching. And it is a very haunting film. For Robert Eggers, considering that he's the guy that made The Witch, that movie stuck in my head for a really long time. And I was like, man, that's a messed up movie. Nosferatu has elements of that, but it didn't get stuck with me. It didn't stick with me in the same way. I will say that the way the vampire actually looks is disgusting, which I appreciate because that's what vampires were supposed to look like. So crazy look that he had, and the way he feeds is absolutely like just grotesque, and that's kind of what you're looking for when it's a true vampire story, right? Because we've kind of glorified these demonic creatures, and really they were originally supposed to look like that. So when you watch the film, I want you to keep that in your head, Jason. I think you'll appreciate that. I'll move on to the next one, which is another. By the way, Nosferatu is still in theaters, I think. 8.7 on my count. When it comes out, it's probably going to initially go to Max. It's an A24 film, right?
If it's A24, it should go to Max.
Yeah, let me double check on that. I don't want to speak too quickly.
I mean, if you check it out on the queue, bro, you can find out where it's going to be going. So,
well, excuse me, I didn't get on the queue fast enough, sir. I don't keep up with it that much.
So you can actually watch it now on Apple TV Plus and Prime Video and even Vudu, but you got to pay for it.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a Universal picture, so it could probably go to Peacock first. It's Focus Features and Universal. So Focus Features made it, Universal distributed. So it could probably go to Peacock first unless there's a deal that Peacock made with another streamer. All right, I'm going to go to another vampire story that I thoroughly enjoyed. It's not as well made or well done, but it was the second season that wraps up an initial storyline from the first season. This is Castlevania, the anime on Netflix. Extremely gory anime that shows some crazy vampires. Castlevania Nocturne season 2. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.3. Thought it was very fun to watch. Some of the lines aren't great, and some of the moments in the story feel a bit forced, but overall it's fantastic. Great action. If you liked the original Castlevania series, you're going to love it. If you like action, if you like horror, this is a show for you. And if you don't mind animated shows, this is very much in your wheelhouse.
Like anime.
Say what?
It's like anime.
I mean, it's got the anime style, but it doesn't have the anime feel, if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah, because I'm looking at pictures right now. It looks like anime, but it's but it's an American anime.
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
Like what's that one movie, Blue Samurai? Show Blue Samurai.
Yes, it definitely doesn't feel like it has that cultural appeal that anime does in terms of like Japanese culture.
Yeah.
It's very much more European or American.
Like Blue Samurai. I love Blue Samurai. I
Yeah.
need season 2 to come out. What the hell?
Say what? Oh, I know. I don't know what they're waiting on that one. But Castlevania Nocturne wraps up the story from the first season, in which we're trying to find out what is going on with the vampire goddess and if she is going to actually put out the light of the world by using the powers of an Egyptian god. We see it all play out. I don't want to say too much. There's, it's all about magic and vampires and fighting them, and this centuries old family called the Belmonts who fight them, and it's just fantastic to watch. I don't want to go too much into it. This one brings back a lot of good memories, and you get to see Alucard again. I will say that in season 2, Alucard is back, and he's just as badass as he usually is. So check it out. If you're willing to watch those animated shows, definitely check that one out.
It looks creepy.
Yeah, it's definitely, again, very much a horror show. It's not scary, but it's got horror elements. It's got a bunch of monsters, vampires, death, and it's just got like very grotesque horror. Like people getting ripped apart, like ripped in half, heads ripped off, things like that, right?
That's my kind of animation right there.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy the Castlevania series. The first one, they fight Dracula, and then they fight a group of vampire sisters who are almost as old as him. Not quite, and not quite as powerful, but definitely fun to watch. And then this one shows the vampire goddess, and it's overall great to watch. I definitely enjoy it. Last one for me, I think people are going to be a little surprised at my rating. I still had fun watching it, but I feel like it just didn't hit the same way that the first season did. Squid Game season 2 came out again during the break, pretty much the day after Christmas. I'm giving that one a 6.2. I'm sorry, not 6.2, 6.5. Fun to watch, almost amazing, but I felt like it didn't really do anything new compared to the first season. I think it's going to do. There were a few things that felt different, but they didn't build on them because they cut it right at the end of the season to where you're going to see all of these things pay out with the cliffhanger that happens at the end of the season. So I give that one a 6.5. I don't want to ruin anything, but yeah, those are my shows that I watched. Try to go through them a little quick. I apologize for over talking on those.
No, you're good, man. I will binge it, and we can maybe talk a little bit more about it later. But I like the first season, so
yeah, if you like the first season, you're gonna like the second season. I'm not saying that. It's still a 6.5.
Yeah, and season 3 is coming out this year, like fairly soon, like quick turnaround, like I think in April, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They probably filmed them back to back, if I had to guess, or at least the storyboarding back to back.
So yeah, you don't have to wait that long; it'll be fresh in your mind. So, and so if you guys are Squid Game fans, there it is for you. Now let's talk about what we've been really excited about.
Foot up on the gas, but somebody got to do it.
I mean, yeah, I'm really excited about that. But I'm talking about our show.
Oh,
it's funny because I watched season 1 earlier in 2024. Severance season 2 out on Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus, right? Is that right? I'm saying that right?
Yeah.
We got 3 episodes as of where we're. What?
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, we got 3 episodes. Okay. Yeah, we have 3 episodes that have come out so far as of the day we're recording on Thursday, February 6th. So new episode will come out tomorrow, the 4th one. Dude, it's feeling just as good as the first season. It still got me hooked. I love the way that they're shooting the show. Like the cinematography is pretty great, especially like in the first episode. Like, you know, what happened, like the way it ended season 1, you're like, you know, Innie finds out that Mark's Audi is his wife is actually alive down in the Severance floor. She didn't die from a car accident. So he's trying to tell his sister that she's alive, and that's how it ends, right? Season 1. So we're like, all right, where are we going to start off with in the beginning of season 2? Like, how are they going to do that? Because that was like a great cliffhanger for us at the end of the show. So it's gonna, you have to kind of like what's it called, impress us, right? I think that's what I'm saying.
You're cutting out.
But yeah, it doesn't disappoint. You know, it starts off with any. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Am I better now? Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, I kind of saw the lag too. But yeah, it starts off with Mark's innie, elevator, and he's back at work, and he's like, I just said she's alive. I was just outside. Now I'm back inside. What happened? How long has it been since that happened? And they told him it's been 5 months, right? And he's like, well, where's? And then he's like running, trying to look for his team or trying to look for the wife, and like the way they shoot that scene in itself it's crazy. And then he finds out that his team is gone and they're fired and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. Just the first season and the first episode is just all point of view from the innie Mark. So we don't get nothing from the outies. And he has a new team. He's trying to figure out what happened to his old team. Did they get killed? What happened, right? Because what they did was not right? They were going to piss off Lumen. So he wants his team back, and because he doesn't believe them, he doesn't trust them that like they just got fired, they're not coming back. This is bullshit. Where are they? I want my team back. It's like, if they really are here, I just want to see them that they're alive, right? And he's like, I'm not going to work unless you bring them back. And sure enough, they do, right? You see a young character. Why is that little young character a supervisor, right? That was kind of weird. Is she Severance? What's going on with that?
She severed. Here's I think this is what I appreciate about Ben Stiller in this show. Like, he was able to make a pretty dramatic, like psychological thriller, but you can't take the comedy out of the guy. Like, he does such subtle comedic things in this show that sometimes you don't even realize it. And I felt like that was one of them, like, because obviously the show is like an analogy, right? It's talking about how corporations kind of treat their workers, so on and so forth, right? And I felt like she was very much an example of like people who have been on the job for years getting a supervisor who is much, much younger than them, and that's how they would see them. Just like this child that shows up, and when I saw her, I was like, what the? Then I was like, oh, I get it. You're stupid. You're stupid, right? Like, but like, you watch it and like you have to take her seriously if you're one of them, right? Because she is their boss. And it's just kind of a hilarious way that they did that. And I really appreciate that Ben Stiller does that in the show. Even when he's going through, like in season 1, when he's introducing the Lumen facilities to, the redhead, what's her name?
I forgot her name, dude. I know he's Mark S. We got Dylan, and then we got the other character.
We've got Mark S. and Helly.
Yeah, there we go.
Helly, when he's introducing Helly to the offices, and they're just taking like turns and turns, and everything looks exactly the same, and he's explaining it all as if it all looks like this different place, and it's just all the same thing. I found that to be pretty humorous as well, right? Like, you see these little subtleties that he uses for humor in the show, and I felt like that's what the kid was like. Why is she there? She's just this little girl who's supposed to be be the supervisor of all these adults. And I just thought that was a good play on sometimes you see in the real world.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but I do have a theory about that girl. I think the further deeper we get into it, I think she's a clone. I think that's what Severin and Lumens is trying to do personally. Like, why is Mark S.'s wife outside of Lumen dead, but inside she's alive? Mm-hmm. Was she brain dead in the outie, and they were only able to keep her alive in the Severance world? Like, and what are they doing with the goats, right? In episode 2, right? We see it in season 1. What are they doing with the goats? Are they using the goats as test dummies for cloning? And I think they're trying to maybe find out, right? You're able to separate the outie and Severance then, right? Are they trying to create a body for Mark S, right? and so that you can have 2 Mark S's and then just keep that person working there forever, and you don't even need the actual Mark. I think that's just kind of a theory that I've been kind of like just thinking about. I don't know. That's just what it feels like to me. I don't know if you've been cooking up any theories yourself.
You know, at this point in the show, I really don't know, and that's a really good theory. Actually, that's solid. You put that together, and when you say that, I mean that is one of the first animals that was actually successfully cloned. Right, was a sheep. So same family. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Props to you on that one. I hadn't really looked into it that way. So if she is a clone, that would be a definite shocker when it comes up. But clearly, Lumen is doing a lot of things that there's no way they are legal, right? There's no way that the things that they are doing are legal, because the way that, I mean, I don't understand how Severance is legal in that world. Like, that sounds crazy. And the way that they're using the characters, like finding out things about their personal lives, like Dylan with his wife and his kids, like that's a bit like, it bothers me so much to see that they're using that against him so that he won't join in with his pretty much friends to find out what the hell is actually going on in the Lumen facilities on the severed wing. The conversation he had with, maybe I'm reading into this incorrectly, but the conversation that Dylan had with his wife and how excited he was to see her, and like the way he acted towards her, and her shock that he like just had no idea who she was.
No idea who I am. Yeah.
And then when she goes home to the regular version of himself, where she wasn't as quite like happy to see him, it was almost as though, maybe I was reading it wrong, but it almost felt like she was excited about this new version of Dylan. She was like, oh wow, like you're more, what would the word be? You're more present than my actual husband is. Or am I reading that totally wrong?
No, I think you're right on the money there. But I think that's in itself, because he's always wanted to know who his wife was, right? Versus the Audi Dylan has been married to her for years. So like, it's kind of like just normal to be around your wife. You know, it's just like any other day. Versus Dylan, the Innie, who knows he has a wife, but he's never seen her. So seeing her for the first time, it's more like, like you said, he's more present because he's excited to see her. I think that could be another play on of like how relationships are, right? How when you're first in a relationship to, you know, just being comfortable around each other, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I was like. When you get comfortable and you don't do the work of like staying romantic and getting into it and making sure that the other person feels loved and seen and doing the things that they care about and making sure, you know, all of those little things, it gets lost, especially when you have kids. It gets lost sometimes, and you have to work at it. And go ahead.
I mean, I think at the end of their meeting too, like, you know, when the Innie Dylan gets to see his wife for the first time, and you know, at the end of their conversation, the wife does sounds like, you're a good man outside, right? Like, you're a good person. So, because he was kind of nervous, like, why is he can't get a job outside? Like, am I a fuck up? It's like, no, you're a really good man. So like, that was kind of like, so she does love her husband, but it was just like, also was she scared? It's like, oh my God, like, I don't know if I'm okay with this. Like, he has no idea who I am.
You could definitely see like
That's
her
scary.
discomfort with what the actual process is like.
Yeah.
And that scene was so sad. He's like, so I'm a fuck up. And then she was just like, I wouldn't say that. It's just that your Audi, which hilarious names, by the way. Innie and Audi just reminds me of like
my belly button.
Yeah, exactly. See, those are the little things that they do where you're like, you're dumb. Anyway, when she says that like he never really found his thing, like the thing that like he really loved and was good at, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that's reality, right? Like, a lot of people don't ever find that thing that gives them passion. The show has a lot of depth, but again, like, there's those little things that just make you laugh. And the conspiracy behind all of it is what keeps us in it. So I'm excited to see what happens next, which by the time you guys watch this, you will know what happens in episode 4.
I do also have a theory about Helly. Because, you know, obviously we find out in season 1 that Helly's Audi is actually part of the head Lumen person's daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously in the end of season 1, like when they got unseverance, right? The innies were out in the world. She tried to expose them, and she was in a good spot to actually podium where the world could see, like, no, they're treating us fucking terrible down there, right? So I think, right, because when Mark's like, I want my team back, and then Helly Audi got to see the videos, right? And she's like, you have to go back there. And she's kind of like in shock. I think the Helly is not the innie Helly. I think she's just the Audi Helly. They're using her to get information from Adam, Dylan, and Irving, like, hey, what did you guys see out there? Right?
Ooh, interesting. So you think they took out?
Yeah. So I think, yeah.
You think they took out?
I don't know. I don't think they took it out. I don't know if they took it out. I think, you know how you can like severance them and unseverance them? I think with her, like they just unseverance her. So I think she's like doing undercover, and she probably just like watch videos so she can be like, all right, what's my relationship with these people? How is she like? I got to be like her so I can extort information from them. What did they tell Lumen, right? So I think she's kind of like a double agent right now. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like in that first episode. And the second episode, it made me be like, oh, okay, maybe it is the severance her. But I wouldn't be surprised if Helly was actually the Audi instead of the innie. And she's just trying to be a double agent. Yeah.
She seemed a little fixated on that kiss too, where I was like,
Oh yeah.
And Mark clearly has no game because he totally got nervous when they were talking. It was just like, oh, all right, well, let's go this way. Like, poor Mark S. I do hope we get to see a little more of that storyline play out. As much as I'm appreciating them building up to it, I want to see a little more of the storyline play. I want to see his wife again to see if she's still around. Like, what did they do with her? We haven't seen her once yet.
Yeah, man. And I mean, speaking of that, shout out to Mark S's sister out there, dude. Like, she's like, there's a possibility that she's alive. And then Mark S, the Audi's like, no, why would I say that? Right. He's trying to get over that. Like, he's trying to move on. Right. But it's like, I was like, she was my family too. Right. And kind of convinces him, is like, why would he say she's alive and you're holding a picture of this photo? And then her not trusting Lumen too, when they come to like, hey, well, so anything happened? Did they say anything? Right. And she's like, I don't trust them. Like, what's going on? So like the fact that like she's trying to help Marquez, like, we got to find out, like, you got to find out how to contact your innie to find out what he meant by she's alive. So in season 3, that's what we're trying to find out. Like, Marquez is finding like, all right, how do I get in touch with my innie, right? To find out, what do you mean by she's alive? And tries everything, obviously this stuff's not going to work. That stuff's not going to work. And then we find out that it comes towards the end of episode 3, and we see the lady that helped reintegrate Peter, right? I think that was his old coworker. Yes. That was able to unseverance the person and make them one, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the way you're going about it is all wrong. You're going to get yourself killed. You're going to get yourself hurt. Like, I can help you so you can know what is actually going on. Sorry if I am skipping. If I'm cutting off, my internet seems like it's a little shady, so I apologize for that. But yeah, dude, at the end of the episode, unless there's anything you want to include before I kind of go over what we saw at the end of episode 3.
No, go ahead. Let's keep it going.
Okay. Yeah, so he ends up agreeing with her, and is like, we got to reintegrate. If you really want to find out the truth and stuff like that, why not reintegrate so you can know, so you just become one person, right? And that's kind of weird, right? Because you're a brand new person, right? Meeting with your current self, it's gonna feel weird, right? It's like two brains coming together, and that's what we get at the end of the episode. Like, it ends with Mark S and Mark S's innie and Audi combining together and being reintegrated. I think that's what they call it. So I wasn't expecting that until like later in this season, being reintegrated. But he's getting reintegrated in episode 3. So I think it's going to move a lot faster, and I was not expecting that. I thought they were going to drag it out a little bit, but it seems like their storyline, like, yeah, we got way more story to tell. So let's kick this into full gear and get these people, get the watchers' attention, and more like, all right, what's going to happen next? Because that's what I feel after every episode. What is happening next?
I can't wait to see the fully integrated Mark go down into the severed floor and do exploring with the knowledge that he has from the outside and the inside. But that being said, let's go into our final subject so that we can wrap it up. Feature presentation. Let's go quickly over the Grammys. Grammys happened this past weekend. There were some wins that people were upset about. There were some wins that people were really excited about. Jason is doing a dance.
I'm doing the C-Walk, baby.
Yep. Very much like his hero. Kendrick Lamar. I'll let you say it, Jason.
Sweeps the Grammys, bro. 5 Grammys, won everything he was nominated for. No rapper has done that, bro. They not like him, bro. They're not like us, Dude, that was crazy.
They not like us.
I was not expecting him winning Record of the Year or Song of the Year. I really thought other songs would win.
Over a diss track. Let's be honest, it's a diss track. Probably greatest diss track at this point. Like with the amount of hype around it, like maybe lyrically there have been some better ones, but honestly, this track just did it. I know a lot of people argue like, how is that Song of the Year? I'm like, how is it not Song of the Year? You couldn't escape it. It was everywhere. Everyone knew it, even if you didn't even rap.
The impact that it had.
Yeah. Literally, Heinz Mustard adopted.
Bro, I had people that didn't know who Kendrick was.
Say what?
Dude, there's people that didn't know who Kendrick was, but they're like, "Oh, that Not Like Us song, I know that song."
Yeah.
It's crazy how much of an impact it had last year.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. The song is great. My sister-in-law, shout out Angelica. She was on the pod for the Barbie episode, the Barbenheimer episode. She works for Kraft, so the whole Kraft Heinz using mustard on their commercials for mustard, fantastic. I loved every second of it. That being said,
she does like marketing, right? Was she part of that?
No, she is a scientist for them. So
a scientist.
Yeah. So they make sure that like their recipes, like it's down to a science for how the cheese is made, because it's like it's not just straight up just natural cheese.
What?
What?
It's not? That's crazy.
Yeah, so all of the processing that they do, it's pretty much her job to make sure that it's like affordable to do, tasty, and not terrible for you. Anyway, I loved it, and it was a big shout out to her, Kraft. The whole thing. I've become more of a Kraft person just because of her. That being said, the fact that he wins and the crowd sang, that must have been rough.
A minor.
And it's probably A minor. The whole crowd, even Taylor Swift. That's when you know. You're like, oh snap! Like that must be rough for our boy Aubrey Graham. That being said,
everyone was generally happy for him too. You can just tell everyone was clapping, like, oh, because usually when you see some people that when they don't win, they're just like, right, they get that look in their face, but they were like genuinely happy for him. Like, damn, does everyone hate Aubrey? Kind of makes you think, right?
Yeah, I mean, you wonder what it is. Definitely what his reputation is in the industry. I know that there has been a lot of, I mean, even when he was big, like there was a lot of negative publicity around the way he acted towards other people, his whole fight in the club with Chris Brown. I mean, mind you, it's Chris Brown, but
with T.I.,
say what?
T.I.'s like crew like pissed on his leg or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, all those little things.
Part of the T.I.'s like crew member. Yeah.
But that being said, congrats to Kendrick. Great song, followed up by a great album that he just randomly dropped, and we're probably going to see all of that in the Super Bowl. Go Chiefs. let's go on to next one. I know that we've all become big fans of Sabrina Carpenter. For me, it's out of nowhere. Like, I didn't even know who she was until this year, or I guess last year, 2024. But she has blown up, and she's pleasant to listen to. I enjoyed the songs that I've heard from her. She came out with some Christmas stuff that was good too. So happy for her winning the best pop album. Well, it's called Short and Sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet. It won over actually a good amount of pop albums. She beat out Taylor Swift, beat out Chaperone, Billie Eilish, Ariana Grande. A lot of heavy hitters on the pop side for the Grammys. So I was really shocked. People are saying that she's possibly an industry plant because she was literally everywhere, but also for good reason, man. Like her music I enjoyed it a lot. Like I was jamming out to that album, dude. Bad Cam, Please, 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 Espresso. Those songs are bangers, man. They're just catchy, you know?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, I've enjoyed everything I've heard from her. I don't know if she's an industry plant. Does she come from like Wealth?
But yeah, man. Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, shout out to her. That's a.
Oh, there's a big lag. Sorry, guys. There's a big lag, so I'm going to speak slowly. I did not know that people were saying that she was an industry plant. Does she come from Wealth? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I mean, she started off in the Disney Channel, so since she was a kid, you know. Okay. So I don't know how she got in, but I think maybe she comes from. I don't think she's a Nepo kid. I could be wrong. I don't know much about her, but I knew she was a Disney Channel kid, and there's like pictures with her and like Miley Cyrus when they were younger and like doing the whole Disney Channel stuff. So could be trying to make her famous, you know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think she is deserving. New artists. How do you feel about that one?
Chaperone. I was cool with that. I thought there were some other ones. Krumbin. I like that. I like that band a lot. I didn't know they were nominated for Best New Artist. Probably would have been my pick if I'm being a little biased. But yeah, definitely Palooza and all her concerts and stuff. She's had a very huge impact. Yeah, Doechii and Sabrina beating out Doechii, Sabrina Carpenter, Shabuzi. Pretty good nominations. I don't know any of the other artists. So Benson Boone, Ray, and Teddy Swims. But yeah, I was cool with the Chaperone.
Teddy Swims is pretty solid. Speaking of Doechii, best rap album, deserving or not deserving? I personally think she's great.
I agree, dude. That album was actually a mixtape, and dude, like lyrically, she's amazing. Like she's probably one of the better female rappers out there. And I think lyrically, like she beat out some of those other rap albums that came out. Very original.
No, solid. And honestly, what I like about her is that she's got a style that is very true to rap and doesn't go into those cheap styles that we're hearing. I know that younger fans are like, oh, cheap styles, but they don't rely as much on lyrics, and they're just I don't know what to say about the production. It's not as good. It's like emo, and then there's just like some songs that have only a few words in them, and I'm expected to think this is a great rap song. No, she throws down the bars. She tells stories, very similar to the guy who swept all his nominations, where she can tell a story and you can understand the whole story all the way through. I think she does a great job. Very well deserving. Let's go into country album, and let's just tie it straight into album of the year. I had a lot of people who were upset about this one. And then there's obviously a lot of people who are huge fans and are very happy for her. What were your thoughts on Beyonce winning country album and album of the year?
So country album of the year, I thought it was very interesting because she wasn't even nominated at the Country Music Awards.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it either. I mean, the CMAs are very much more traditional country, industry elite country, right? Like you're not going to stray off with somebody who's just doing a one-off album, right? So that one definitely expected. It is strange for her to win country album on her first outing in country.
And then also, like, I only know the Texas Hold'em song. That's it. That's really all I never listened to the album, so I can't really say much about it. I think she has some good songs. Don't get me wrong, but like I was never like a really huge fan of Beyonce. I know she's great, but like she's not like her music is not really for me, which is cool. You know, I don't expect it to be. But yeah, I don't know. Like, so I can't really give like my full opinion on it. I will say this: it's rather odd that last year's Grammys you had Jay-Z accepting an award, right, for an all-time achievement award, and he just pretty much uses that as a platform to complain that his wife has never won an album of the year and blah blah blah. And it's kind of a weird coincidence that this year she gets it, right? So I think that's what everyone's complaining about. Again, it could have been a great album, but I don't have an opinion on it just because I only know that one song. This ain't Texas, we don't hold them. But I feel like there's a few songs in that album too that aren't really true country. So I think that's why people are pissed about the country album part of it. And I don't know, man. I think personally, from the albums that I heard for album of the year in general, I think we're better. You know.
Who would you have given it to?
You know, I know people don't find her as great, but honestly, man, she's a great writer, dude. Taylor Swift. I would say even Sabrina Carpenter, very underrated as well. I would probably, the production value and just like the creativity that she put into it was very different from, well, I mean, you know how Billie is, right? She's very different in most of her albums. I think that one should have probably, but again, I didn't hear the Beyonce album, so maybe I have to listen back to it and I can maybe give a better opinion, but I really like those albums. So I wouldn't mind those other albums that I just mentioned to win those as well. I can't remember what other albums were nominated.
I know Chris Stapleton was nominated as well.
The Flute, Andre 3000.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that one didn't win. That one I would have been upset. And don't get me wrong, it's a good Flute album, but no, it is not album of the year. I only listen to it to go to sleep. That's it. That's as far as that goes for me.
Charlie XCX and Chappell Roan were also nominated.
So to play devil's advocate on Cowboy Carter, now I haven't heard much of it, but I will say the song that she does with Miley Cyrus, which also I think they got nominated for. I don't know that they won because Kendrick Lamar swept. But the song that they got nominated for, I think, is Bodyguard. That's a very good song. It shows off both of their vocals, and they actually sing really well together.
Could be record of the year. Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you. I think a bar song probably would have been sweet to see win for song of the year.
Yeah, bar song. Okay, I could see that. I just checked it, and it is, gosh,
Texas Hold'em.
No, Most Wanted is the one that she does with Miley Cyrus.
Oh, the collaboration song.
Right? Yes, that one's really, really well done. Texas Hold'em is good. I haven't heard all of the other songs. I did like her remake of Jolene. I do hear the complaint that it doesn't sound country enough. I think it uses a lot more heavy blues than a lot of country does. But if I'm going to be fair, country music did start with a lot of blues influence. That would be, and for an African American, it makes sense, like, to start with blues because that's the roots. I don't know the rest of the music. I can't argue enough for whether or not she should have won, but just to give the full picture, I mean, it's if you listen to the parts of the album I have heard, it does have heavy blues influences and a little bit of just straight up American style roots music, which I'm like, okay, I could see that working for a country album, especially for an artist who is used to doing like R&B and pop. I don't know if it should have won compared to the rest because I haven't heard the other albums. But what I will say is when Lemonade lost out to Adele several years back, I thought that was a mistake. I thought Lemonade was probably the much better album. Like if you listen through it, I'm like, I don't really understand the choices there. It wasn't even.
Give you that one.
Huh?
I could give you that one for sure.
Yeah. That's the one where I'm like, she probably should have won that one. That's the one that she should have won. And that's what I feel like the problem with the Grammys is in general is that they give, and sometimes the Oscars too, they'll give an award to someone for a performance that they probably shouldn't have won it for because they should have given it to them before.
Yeah, I think one that comes to mind for me personally would be Leonardo DiCaprio winning in Revenant.
Yeah. As compared to when did you think?
It was a long time coming for Leo. I think he should have won some other ones.
Although I will say his performance in The Revenant, Jesus.
I personally thought he should have won.
Yeah, but go ahead. Where did you think he should have won?
For Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. Our friend group is pretty big on that.
I think Matthew McConaughey won that.
He won for Wolf of Wall Street?
No, Matthew McConaughey won in Dallas Buyers Club when he beat out Wolf.
Okay. I could see it. I mean, I could see it going either way. But yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's all I'll say about it because I haven't heard all of Beyonce's album. I've heard a good amount because my wife really liked the album, and so did my daughter. So I heard quite a bit of it. But overall, I can't speak to it too much because I didn't hear the other albums, and I didn't pay a lot of attention while listening to Cowboy Carter. So that being said, I just wanted to play devil's advocate in terms of people saying that it wasn't country enough. You know, it does have blues. It has a lot of blues elements. It has a lot of American roots with like banjo and things like that they do play into. She did ask some pretty big names to come in on it with her from the country world. So that I'll say. But overall, do I know if she should have won it? That I don't know. Especially among country fans, I know they were very, very up in arms about it. I would like to hear more from those country fans.
No, I agree. I think that's pretty much it, man. Can't wait for the Super Bowl for Kendrick to perform. It's crazy, man. It's almost a whole year, and I'm not tired of it, dude. It's just, dude. Imagine being Drake, dude. Like for real. Like Grammys, you they're just like pretty much. It's a song that wins dissing you, and like you think it's pretty much over. Nope, they're just gonna do it again next week in the Super Bowl, and one of the biggest stages in America, right? So it's probably one of the worst. Like, dude, like if you feel like you're ever having a bad day or a bad year, just it could be worse. You could be Drake.
You could be Drake in 2024, slash 2025.
And that's crazy because he's rich as fuck. So
yeah, I gotta say you're right about that.
Yeah.
But I think we're gonna end it there. We'll wrap it up here. Jason, you got anything else to add before we log off? I think Jason's lagging a bit. My guess is that he's good to go. Jay,
catch us next week.
Oh, you're there. You're not there. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm good.
All right. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get us signed off. Hope to see you guys next week for another episode of Revenge of the Pod. Hopefully we will have our technical difficulties under wraps. And we will, since this was the return, it was a bit of a chunky episode, but we will be going back to shorter episodes. Appreciate you guys. Love you. We'll see you soon. Peace out.
Peace.